my goodness, what a save!
What a save! What a glove save there, but what a stop! Looked like a sure goal. You talk about an A+ save and maybe the save of the night.
Welcome to the Goalie Science Podcast, where we break down the science of goaltending, coaching, and everything in between. I'm Dr. Jamie Phillips, former professional goalie, board-certified physical therapist, and goalie performance specialist, alongside my co-host, Derek Boujan, owner of Boujan Goaltending and On Ice Hockey Performance Center. Whether you're on your way to a game, gearing up for practice, or just tuning in, grab your favorite drink and let's drop the puck on this week's episode. Welcome, everyone, to another episode. I was going to say weekly episode, but that's just not happening. A weekly episode of the Goalie Science Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jamie Phillips, joined by Doctor of Common Sense, not Ben Cerner, Derek Boujan. Bouj, when was the last time we pod? I still think it was last week, but apparently it's been 2 weeks.
No, we haven't dropped one since April, but we recorded one 2 weeks ago. We missed last week because you were at USA Hockey trying to be a big deal. But like I was saying just before we started, I tried to go back and listen to, so this is going to drop May 27th or something like that. Today we're recording a week before, but I went back and tried to listen to what we talked about 2 weeks ago because I couldn't remember because it's been so long. But we were talking about tryouts, and I remember, like anybody who's watching this, my beard was bigger, it was grayer. I looked like I was 76 years old because we were right in the middle of tryout season, and tryout season has been finished for me for 4 days, and I feel like I'm 22 years old again. I have life. I am vibrant. I am glowing. And I am a new person, reborn, with open borders being done with my first go through, and it is finally done.
It's hard to understate or overstate how taxing tryout season is for people that are evaluating. And then, on my side, add in travel, USA Hockey stuff, Muskegon stuff, which we'll get to. My 19 businesses that I run. It's hard. So we are trying on the podcast. If you're listening and you're like, hey, I do podcasting stuff, I would love to help edit and upload things for you. Just reach out because we could use that. But other than that, so before we get into more tryout stories, congratulations to the Muskegon Lumberjacks for winning the Clark Cup. Very good win, character win, let's just say. Good goaltending all around. Very good goaltending by Shikabush and Godziev in the championship game. We were outshot, outplayed, but doesn't matter. In the end, winners win. They got the ring, and hopefully I get one too. But it is cool to now that I can look at it from the different. It's a cool thing because I won some things in hockey as a player. Now I've won some as a coach, and it's a different feeling. But basically, when I texted both the goalies after, the only thing I said, it was just like, congratulations. You guys played so well all season. The biggest thing I put in there is I'm just happy to be a part of your hockey journey. And I said that to both of them. And I think that that's a really cool piece that no matter where these guys end up, whether it's the NHL or just Division I, or they end up going pro, which I'm sure they both will, it was cool to be a part of that journey for a season, especially one that ended up in a championship win. So congratulations to the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Good. I'll stop patting myself on the back.
You can take a little bit of credit in that. It's a lot of work. It's hard to win. People don't realize how incredibly difficult it is to win something. I'm a Leaf fan, and people who are Leaf fans know what we just went through. But it's incredibly difficult, and you can build and build and build, but at the end of the day, you got to get on the ice and you got to play the games. And people forget that there's a team on the other side trying to do the same thing to beat you. It is incredibly difficult to win. And like you said, winners win. That is true. Winning is a skill, something that you learn how to do. But when you win, take some damn credit for it. You can be humble. You can eat humble pie all the time, but you win. You get a 2-week grace period where it's revel in that, man. Smile, enjoy it, breathe, because you might get fired in 2 weeks. So enjoy this 2 weeks because it starts all over again in about 10 days, and then the pressure's right back on to repeat.
That is true. I actually was I've been trying to think. I want to say writing, but it's not. I've been annotating. So what I do is actually when I write my weekly emails, oftentimes what I do is I just talk directly to ChatGPT and I say, take exactly what I'm going to say and make it sound coherent, please. And I've been putting a lot of like my thoughts and like strategies and like coaching methodology. And I'm now that the season's done, I can ask my goalies their feedback because I experimented a little bit with them. And like we've talked before, this just kind of goes back to the training should be hard. I took a hard approach, I tried to expose all their weaknesses all season long. And I didn't do a lot of like confidence building days. Even honestly, when I look back, I probably should have done a few. I still didn't. Whether that's right or wrong, I guess it's easy to look at it and be like, oh, that's totally right because we won. But I took a different approach. And so I've been trying to like jot down some of this methodology and try to how do you coach really it's meant for higher level goalies and like because usually the higher level goalies they can take really good goalies and can you make them slightly better. And there was a few things I experimented when I was at Tech, and I think that's why I did a good job at Tech was I had really good goalies and I was able to make them slightly better. The biggest thing I didn't want is to have really good goalies and then for them to not progress and not to be up to the challenge. So I'm gonna probably put together my thoughts. I don't know how I'll release it, but that for those listening, there were no easy days of goalie training. You know, we get goalie training, maybe it was once or twice a week if we're lucky, and everything was hard. Everything was traffic. Everything was shots off the rush. All the things that if you train with me, we do it now. But it was even to the point where I know that they probably weren't super thrilled. And there were some days that they were just like, hey, can we just do some RVH stuff where you just like shoot it at us? And we found different ways to work that in. But that was my approach. And I'm happy to see it was successful. And I think that it did make a difference in both their games, regardless of the overall outcome of the season. So look forward to that once I get some time and Chat GPT bails me out and makes my thoughts make sense. I don't know if you use it.
Yep.
It's actually unbelievable to use.
I've never used it because first, my thoughts aren't coherent enough that ChatGPT would be able to decipher it. And number two, I just say it how it is, man. Like, I don't want anybody twisting my words. I don't want it to make it. I don't want it to be more discernible, and I don't want it to be nicer. Just take me for
Oh,
who I am.
it's not nicer. It's just like so what I do is I pay for the $20 a month for the whatever. I don't know what it even gives me, but it allows me to talk to it like I'm talking to a human, which is super weird. But what I do
That's
is
good
like
for you because you don't have a lot of friends. So
that is true. So
if you can talk to your computer, then at least you
when
feel
I'm
special and warm.
when I'm driving, I have all those thoughts, and so I put it on, and I just like we'll talk to it and be like, and then at the end of my drive, I'll have like 4 or 5 different emails that I can send out to my athletes or like turn into content because otherwise it's just me rambling, and you know how much I love to ramble. Uh, and then the last thing, not a pat on the back, but what what's going on in Leafland, man? Like, how are you doing? How are you doing?
I don't know, man. Like I got a 9-year-old kid who a couple years ago we watched them blow another game 7, and he goes, "Why am I a Leaf fan?" And I just looked at him and said, like, "Because you just are. Like it's just the way it is. Right? You have no choice." And now, like we're driving actually, I think it was yesterday. We're driving the car. He's like, "Dad, I think I want to be a Florida fan." I go, I look at him. I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because they always win." I go, "You name me one player on that team, and you can be a Florida fan." He goes, "I got no idea. The only thing I know is they beat the Leafs every year." And I just wanted to pull over, spank him on the highway, and just leave him there. But he's not wrong. Like like I'm on suicide watch right now, man. Like, come on,
You were dangerously silent in the group
Craig.
chat.
Oh yeah, I shut that shit out. Craig Berube was glued together all year. Like this guy protected his players in the media. He never looked unhinged on the bench ever. The first time he ever came unglued was in that second period of game 7, where anybody watching could see it. They just crumbled. And even his post game conferences, like they just abandoned their structure. And what we said, winners win. And it's a collective group of elite players that can't win. And this is the first time I've said, like, I never ever thought, like, blow it up. This is the first time I've ever, I'm like, oh yeah, something's got to change. Like they can't do it. I've been the last holding on to that string of like, they're too good not to be able to get it done. They're a collection of elite players that can't win. They just can't. They're not winners, and you have to move them out. And this goes back to like what we're going to get into, like more Trout stuff. But like, you can't just build a team with the best players because it doesn't make them the best hockey team. You have to have guys that are willing to sacrifice. And what they said it on Shores is these guys just don't hate to lose.
Did you see that interview? That
Yeah,
interview,
oh yeah.
That's it's so fun. It is true, and it is multifaceted. And I do love, as someone who was a non-Leaf fan growing up in Leafs Nation, I love that the talk right now is like the pressure that the media and the city puts on the players and how they just don't want to play here. And you know what? That onus is on you, you crazy Leaf fan. But that goes any Canadian market. But this guy's, I don't know. And I think the argument that, oh, if Stolars didn't get hurt, it would have been different. No, that's a bad argument. It's called adversity.
And Joseph Wool was unbelievable in 3 of the games. And even game 7, like the first 10 minutes of game 7, he was unbelievable to keep it at 0-0. They had no
shot attempts to 0.
There was no business it being 0-0 after 10 minutes in game 7. Like, no business. And, like, okay, this is my question. I always kind of laugh at that. Like, the media puts pressure and pressure and pressure. You're a guy that played at close to the highest level, was there. You had internal pressure, but you're around those guys. Can you explain to me how millionaires that have grown up playing this game and to get to where they've had to go through adversity, how is that pressure overwhelming that they need to get into town?
It's a little different. It's not the kind of pressure that people think. It's more of the outside life where they can't enjoy life outside the rink. Like when everyone gets to the rink, there is that same pressure, internal and external. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Where in Canadian markets it becomes difficult is you need to have that separation between, Jamie the athlete and Jamie the human being. And that line is blurred, and you don't get that line in a market like Toronto, where it's not like you can go like Mitch Marner can't go to the grocery store. Like he can't do things and go to a restaurant, especially not now, being berated by people. And like there's that kind of that fear, and that enjoyment is sucked out. So the fear is there and the enjoyment is sucked out because you can't do that. And that's where that would be my, like the way that I see it and the way that I saw it. That pressure is you can't enjoy your life outside the rink. Where in other markets, you can go to wherever you want. I'll give an example. We were in college, we were driving to play Alabama Huntsville, and we stopped in Nashville. Mike Ribeiro is just at the grocery store. Like no one's there. No one's bothering him. No one's doing anything. And it's not, Austin Matthews is not going to Loblaws and picking up a rotisserie chicken without being swarmed, and you can't enjoy that part of life. And it's you're not unable to be a complete human, and that's where it becomes unenjoyable. And then you stack that on, and this is something that people say, but no one really believes them when they say it. It's hard to understate how many NHL players actually don't really enjoy playing, and they only play because they're good at it. And you need to have those guys that just love it and hate. The Sidney Crosbys, the McKinnon, like you can tell, the McDavids, you can tell that they love hockey, like, and they hate to lose, and that's part of it. But there's so many guys in the NHL and pro hockey that just play because they are good at it and it's all they know. And they try hard and stuff, but when push comes to shove, there isn't that extra gear or internal stat. But I'm not saying that the Leafs have that, but I'm saying it's hard to enjoy what you do when you can't leave your apartment or your house or all these things, and you're stuck there because as soon as you go outside, you're swarmed and you're a celebrity. And not even the celebrity part's one thing, but when you're getting yelled at and told about how much you suck all day, every day, like that sucks. And it's not even the social media. Like you can turn your computer off, you can turn the TV off. You don't have to hear it. It's when you go outside and hear it that's hard on everybody. I can't hear you.
Best.
Oh, there you go. Hang on. There you go. You're good. You're good.
I'm good now. This is the best core of a team that can't win. So put a nuclear bomb in the middle of it, get rid of them. And I would start with, oh my God, I wouldn't even know where to start with. But we can say goodbye to Marner. Marner's gone.
Marner's for sure gone.
Bring back Johnny T. Johnny T is the man. If they don't bring back John Tavares, then I don't know what to tell you. But that guy is the most undervalued, underappreciated hockey player in Toronto in the last 50 years. And shame on every Leaf fan and shame on every media member. John Tavares is the Toronto Maple Leafs. That guy embodies being a Leaf. And
the
if he doesn't
media
come
is so
back,
hard on him. Like they're like,
no, Nick Kypreos. Nick Kypreos is the biggest idiot. Like I think I've gone on my rant. This guy is the most negative man in the world. Like I thought I was a negative person. Nick Kypreos sucks. I can't listen to the guy. They could be on an 8-game winning streak and he's still just finding things wrong and wrong and wrong. Now at the end of the day, they ran into Florida Panthers, who won the Stanley Cup last year, who I think is going to go on and win the Stanley Cup again. They good on Paul Maurice, who I think is one of the most undervalued, underappreciated coaches in the NHL still. But that team is good, man. And they ran into a buzzsaw. But at the end of the day, they couldn't push back. This core of players is not good enough. Get rid of them. And let's not make this into the Toronto Maple Leafs podcast because I hate them. I don't want to talk about them anymore. I'm burning my jerseys. I'm going to be, if John Tavares goes back to the Islanders, imagine that. John Tavares signs in the Islanders. Imagine. Then I'm an Islander fan. Then he should go to Edmonton. Go to Edmonton. Go to Chicago.
I would like Edmonton. I'm all on the Edmonton. I really want Edmonton to win. There's a couple of reasons. One, I'd like a Canadian city to win. I would also like McDavid just to get a cup so that everyone can just like relax and be like, hey, he's got his cup. He can go and be free.
Dialogue about Crosby was going on 15 years ago, guys.
And the same dialogue about Ovechkin and like all these things. I just want
Crosby's got 3 cups, so relax.
Yeah. I just want them to shut up. Let him do his cup, and then he can go off into the sunset and be the best player, and no one in the microscope's off him.
This thing is rotting your brain. Now, the average American spends about 4 hours and 37 minutes on their phone a day. And yes, I did Google that to find the exact answer. The average hockey player probably spends around double that because I spend all day at the rink. I see you kids these days on your phone. What would you do if you had access to NHL level goalie coaching at every second? Well, we have access to our phones at every single second of the day because we're never not with it. Trust me, this thing is glued to my body. Well, I created the EGM Labs app. That is essentially my second brain. This is every sort of piece of content that I have ever done. There's over 2,000 hours of video, training, breakdown, edge works. I'm constantly adding to it. Every single day I add a new drill, lesson, something to make you a better goalie. Now, the initial feedback has been unbelievable. The app is available only on iOS and desktop right now. Android is coming soon. So if you're curious about it, go in the iOS App Store, search Elite Goalie Method Labs. You get a free preview. It gives you a little bit of a taste of every sort of section we have in there. So after you download the free trial, if it's something you're interested in, and I promise this is going to make you a better goalie. And after you try the free preview, if this is something that you want, you can go click the link down below or in the show notes and sign up for the full app. Or if it's something you're like, you know what, Jamie, not for me. I'm okay. I respect that. You can delete the app. It's free. No login, anything required until you sign up for the full thousands and thousands of hours of content. All right, back to the episode.
I want a Stanley Cup. We're going to talk about
You're not going to win a Stanley Cup. And I do hope it's Florida Edmonton again because I like the drama a little bit. Like that's pretty cool. You got 2 teams going back and forth. They play tonight. If you're watching this is May 21st. Game 1 of Dallas Edmonton is tonight. I don't know how they're going to get through Dallas, to be honest with you. That
it's going to win 7-6. It's exactly how they're going to do it. But if Edmonton wins a Stanley Cup, there's proof that I could still win a Stanley Cup. Like I could put on equipment and I could Stuart Skinner it, and I could still win a Stanley Cup.
Yes,
because they're getting. I mean, they got back-to-back shutouts. Okay, congratulations, Stuart Skinner. I'm a Stuart Skinner fan. I'm pulling for the guy, but it's hard to watch him play hockey. And then it's almost impossible to watch Pickard play hockey. Like you might as
when
well put
I
Road Warrior pads on.
it's sad. Hate to say this because like I think that when I watch Pickard play, it makes me realize that like I could have kept playing. You know, like I would have been fine. Like it would have been all right.
Sometimes you just got to get the right opportunity. Like good on him, he's 6-0 in the playoffs. Like
Yeah, and you can't dog that. Now, unfortunately, it's hard to sit on the bench all year and then all of a sudden be a starter and your body not get hurt and injured. Oh, that God, I mean, we should have prepped a little bit. I was coaching on Monday. I went into the boards so hard. Like we were doing a drill and I picked up the puck. And to be honest, my skates are awful because I had to walk on concrete like 3 weeks ago and then never got them sharpened again. And I don't think this was it, but you know, when you see guys go to the boards at full speed and you're like, I went into the boards at full speed, feet first. And if that is not a testament to my rehab and prehab training, I don't know what is. My body was in a pretzel. Let me see. I don't know. Let me airdrop this over and let me see. And I'll cut it out right now and I'll start now. So if you're okay, here's the video. So I'm gonna play it. And if you're listening in the car, we're sorry, you do have to go to YouTube when you're there. Give us a comment. But you can enjoy. I know.
oh my god! Someone shot your feet out from the stand.
So like when I was thinking about it, I thought I was close to the net. When I watched it back, I was close to the boards, but I don't know what happened. But look, I'm close to the boards.
Were you trying to come out the other way, like back to the like your forehand side?
Yeah, and I just okay, but watch my knee and ankle. So the left, so if you're listening on the radio, or the left side of my body is facing the boards. My right ankle is what hits the boards first. So you can imagine that I'm pretzeled up.
Oh
Like
boy, that is.
I don't even. I want to see if I can pause it in the right way.
You skate as well as Ryan Reeves.
Like, if that's not a testament to my training programs and rehab, that my meniscus and ACL, MCL, every CL there is did not explode. I don't know what there is, but when they say bulletproof your body, you never know what's going to happen. Oh, but that was a hard spill. Oh, what were we talking about?
I don't know. I don't know what
I
we're
don't
talking
know
about.
either.
We're talking about the
Let's
Leafs, and then we're talking about.
if
I don't
you're
know.
we had an 8-minute break as I tried to find that video. All right, let's get into our tryout stories. Tryouts are done for you. You're 4 days through. My tryouts are
4 straight weeks.
for
Four
four
straight
straight weeks. Why were they so long?
Okay, well, AAA starts. So the way
Yeah.
they waterfall it in Ontario, right? You go AAA, AA, A, B.
Mhm.
I actually had a lot of fun at doing the B tryouts. So AAA start with my kids' tryouts, whatever. We talked about that in the last pod. He sucked, stressed me out, couldn't sleep for a month, whatever. Figured it out. Was all world the last couple of skates. Good for him. He just spent $200 of his own money on a used scooter yesterday. So we had that talk last night because I was going to kill him. Who buys a used scooter for $200? My kid is an idiot. Anyways, then we go to AA. I'm coaching AA.
How does he
teams.
buy a scooter? Does he have money?
I'm a neighborhood kid.
Uh,
Yeah, like I come home and the neighborhood kids are ripping him off. Next time we come home, he's gonna be drying. He's gonna be buying weed. And it's gonna be friggin' oregano.
used
Idiot.
scooters are a gateway drug.
Yeah, gateway drug. So then AA, and then it goes A and B. So I had a couple. I got some stories, and I don't really care. Like this pod gets 17 listeners, more like 17,000. But so I got some funny stories. So I got three. So number one, I work for an association. So some of these teams that were going through tryouts, we didn't name a coach, and then I got the privilege of being the interim coach and picking these teams. So I was very careful not to do like a U12 AA and then go and help with like a U12A, like the level below, because that was like I just finished releasing all these kids and now I'm showing up to their next trial and what am I going to release them again? And So I'm doing this U11A team, and there's no coach. So I'm picking this team. So at the end of the tryout, there's a U11B team, and there's a guy that I know that wants to coach a team. So we make this guy the coach of the B team. Well, he's new, like he hasn't coached before. So he kind of asked, he's like, "Hey, like, do you mind if you help me with the U11B tryouts?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. Like, sure, I'll come and help, and I'll just be like the helper guy." So I didn't even think, like, I wasn't even thinking. So I show up to this U11B exhibition game, and I just cut all of these kids from U11A. So it was like 4 days later. So I walk into the room about 4 or 5 minutes before exhibition game, and they're all sitting there in the room. And the one kid looks at me and goes, "Why are you here? Everybody in this room hates you." And
He
I
said that
looked
to
at
your face?
he said that to me right as soon as I walk in the room. And I look, and there's 15 kids all dressed that I just cut. And I'm like, man, this kid is not wrong. So I'm like, I got to get out of this room. And these kids are 10. And like, this kid has made me feel like garbage. So I'm like, I got to get out of this room. So remember that they're 10 years old. So I walk out of the room and I go down this hallway, and it's every one of these parents' kids that I just cut, because they all had to come in and tie their skates. So now I'm walking down like the hall of shame, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is the worst. So the best part about this is the kid that just said that to me. Great kid. Like I actually like this kid. He's on my spring team. So this was Thursday. Friday, the next morning, he's on my spring team. I have to see him again. And he goes, "I said to you yesterday I hated you. I still hate you." He goes out, hits a kid from behind, gets suspended for 2 games. And then I'm like, yeah, well, now I hate you.
Oh my God. That's
Oh
so
my
funny.
God. And that was a funny one. I got to give that kid credit. That was pretty good. So this is another, like, this is just us talking. We're just talking here. But so I can't say the age, but this is one of those all time put your foot in your mouth stories. So there's this kid who's been trying out for um, the association for a long time. And he's a kid, he's been very, very close every year. And he put in a lot of work. And like he got there. Like he's been a kid who's played house league. He came to the AA tryouts. He came to all the pre skates. He looked really, really good. We get to the A tryouts, and I'm not involved. I'm at a spring tournament, so I come back after the two skates, and I'm talking to a coach, and he's like, "We're gonna call this kid. We're just gonna call him Jeff." He's like, "Jeff never came to tryouts, and the goalies that are out aren't very good. Like, where's Jeff?" So in my head, I'm like, open boards, man. This guy went somewhere else. Like I put all this work into him. I've been doing all of this with him getting ready for this tryout, and he no showed. I'm like, this kid went somewhere else, because that's what we've been dealing with open borders. So I'm like, I'm on it. Give me a couple minutes. So I send the dad an email. I said, hey, give me a call ASAP. So I'm sitting in the room, and the phone goes off, and I'm like, okay, he's calling me. I'm going to find out what's going on. So I walk out of the coach's room, go to the lobby. It's empty. And I just tear into this guy. I'm like, I've been doing this for you the last 6 months. I've been coming in doing privates. I've been on my days off getting you ready. We came all the pre-skates. I was talking you up during the AA tryouts. I'm like, if you tell me you went somewhere else to try out for A, I'm going to lose my mind. And he goes, there's like softness. I'm so sorry, Derek. We just buried my mother 2 hours ago.
Oh, Derek.
Oh my God. And that's exactly what I said. Where'd you go?
Oh, right in the middle of a good story. Yeah, so when you're listening to this back, it's going to not make sense. And the drama was there. Because my office doesn't have the greatest Wi-Fi, I use a hotspot. Apparently, when someone calls you, it turns off your hotspot. So
Sick. What part were we at? All I saw was your head go back, and you just said, "Oh, Derek."
right when right when he said he just buried his mom.
Okay, so I'll try to pick it up. So he's like, "Sorry, we just buried my mother 2 hours ago," and I'm like, I'm the worst human being in the planet. And then he's like, we have 65 people at my house right now for the wake. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, why are you responding to my email? Like, you called me. I'm like, I'm not blaming him at all. Like, that's not, but I'm like, it's like, oh, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, please just take care of your family. The next skate is in like 4 or 5 days. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you if you want to like come or if you don't want to come. I'm like, so like call the coach. I'm like, just like keep us posted about we really were excited for your son to play on this team this year. So he's like, okay, thank you so much, Derek. Again, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, man, like I'm sorry. So by the time I walk back from the lobby to the coach's room, he's texted me the obituary. So it pops up on my phone and I'm like, oh my God. So I walk in this room and I just start yelling at everybody. I'm like, you stupid. Like, I just had to call this guy for you guys. You guys don't have the balls. I got to do all the dirty work for you. I'm taking bullets. I'm like, and they're all like, what happened? So I tell them the story and then they just start laughing at me. I'm like, I'm going to get shanked. I'm going to get hit by a car in the Sobeys parking lot. I deserve it. And all of these guys are just throwing me under the bus. Welcome to Open Borders. Welcome to the craziness that Open Borders does to coaches when they're trying to pick teams. I got one more.
To be fair, I probably wouldn't have guessed a death in the family with Open Borders. So I get it. It doesn't make you look any better.
No, I'm a dig. But like to me, it's like he's gone to try out somewhere else because Open Borders. Like I've been spending all this time like getting him ready, like coming in on days off because this kid wants it so bad. I'm like, he went somewhere else. I'm like, I'm gonna kill him. And then sure enough, I'm the bad guy.
You're the bad guy. Well,
rightly
we already knew that. All right, what's this last one? There's no way it can top that because
it doesn't top this one, but this is more like open border craziness. So some associations are allowed to make rules on if they're allowing imports. Some associations just say right across the board, we'll take 15 non-locals, whatever they want to do. OHF doesn't matter, right? But each association is allowed to make their rules. So I'm working with another association that is put on a limit, right? Each team can only have so many imports. So this particular team I'm working with lost one of their goalies to a higher level. So we need to replace this goalie. So we come to tryouts and we sign one goalie and the rest of the crop is pretty thin. The best kid would be considered an import, but we're at our import limit. Like there is no more imports. So I got to call the old man and be like, listen, your kid played really well. This is a situation like we just don't have an import spot for you at this time. I'm like, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but that's just the reality of how this association is working. Like, I'm sorry. He's like, well, actually, like I have an address that makes me a local. He's like, we're actually registered and we live in Stony Creek. We'll say Stony Creek. Yeah, we live in Stony Creek. So that I'm like, well, if you're registered in Stony Creek, then absolutely you're part of our drawing area. We can keep you. He's like, yeah, 100%. I'm on Stony Creek address. I'm like, I said to the guy, I go, not that I don't trust you, but let me just call our registrar and let me confirm that before we do anything. Because if I move forward with this and it doesn't go through, then we're in big trouble and I'm in big trouble. He's like, absolutely no problem. So I call the registrar. It turns out 8 days earlier, this guy changed his address to a different location so that he could try out for a different association and not be an import. And he did a proof of residency 8 days earlier. So she tells me this. I call back. I go, your address is not Stony Creek. Your address is somewhere else. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, you did a proof of residency 8 days ago. You uploaded files showing that you lived at this other place 8 days ago. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm like, I was 10 minutes away from getting fired and having the whole association be completely like imploded because parents are lying about where they live and open borders.
How are you
Then,
keep catching? How do you keep catching smoke for all this?
well, I'm an
How are
idiot. I do this
you
to
in the middle of all
myself
this?
because I'm an idiot. Because I don't know. Because yeah, it's my own fault. I put myself in the middle of all of this stuff because I don't know when you're working with somebody that you respect, you're going to do things to move that association forward.
I can respect that. How do you just change your residency? How does that work? How do you just do
If
that?
you have somebody like your parents live, it's very easy in Ontario. You can just change your driver's license. You just go in. You don't even need any proof. You just say, I have to change my driver's license address. They just give you a new driver's license. Then you go back 3 days later and you say, I need a new driver's license. I changed my address. You can have a driver's license with 10 different addresses. Like it is incredibly, incredibly easy. And now, like with open borders, the only reason, like the OHF doesn't care where you live. You used to have to prove school, like divorce or separation papers, all that stuff. Now, like you're only changing your address if you're like the Niagara North Stars who don't allow imports in. If you want to play for the Niagara North Stars, you have to live in Niagara North Stars AAA catchment, right? But as long as your driver's license say you live there, they don't care because it's not going to get appealed through the OHF anymore.
That's wild. So the days of parents getting legally divorced so their children could play AAA are over. Damn,
Those are over.
those are over.
The
Sad.
divorce rate in Ontario is now flatlined.
Just
It's not gone up anymore.
it's
All thanks
not.
to the
It's
OHF open borders.
sharp decline in divorce rate.
Yeah, divorce rates at trial time every year went straight up. Now straight flat.
Oh, that's wild. I see these are
Kids are
things that
no
like
longer going to private schools. No more French immersion. No more specialty schools. Everything is the way it should be right here.
oh man, what a time. What a time to be alive. These are the stories that like people it's hard to explain. I'm sure this has happened in other sports too. We're just only privy to hockey. But
Yeah, we ever had buried in the sand, but I'm sure soccer is like some of those like smaller sports that are more like fanatical because like with hockey there you hear so many stories because there's so much abundance of them. But you get
mhm.
like kids that are playing like soccer or like I bet you golf, like a one-on-one sport where there's like rivalries against like competitors. I bet you those stories are like smashing each other's car windshields before a tournament so the kid can't show up to round three or breaking the guy's putter, like stepping on the guy's putter or something. Like I bet you like there's way more fanatical stories with other sports, but hockey we just hear so much of it because the capacity and the sheer number of participants is so much higher.
Yeah, and we only work in hockey. That yeah, I don't have any good tryout stories. I don't throw myself into positions like that. So
I'm like
I'm
the
just
I'm like the cleaner for the mafia. Like when something's got to be done, they call me. Like I'm that guy. Remember there was a TV show. I think it was like Kevin Bacon or something called The Cleaner. That just goes and fixes messes, but then halfway through the process, I got to fix my own damn mess because I created an issue. But I'm that guy.
wasn't that with Lev Schreiber? Was that the one? Was it Lev Schreiber?
Yes, you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was an HBO show.
It was a good show.
It used to come on after Game of Thrones, like early seasons.
Yeah, I watched the first season. I should pick that up. There's no good television to watch right now. I don't know what's going on in the world. Um, dang, I don't have anything to top that. USA Hockey went to their national goalie development camp.
Yeah.
Awesome experience. So thank you to USA Hockey. It was cool to be included in that with some of the top goalie coaches and the top non-professional American-born goalies. And then as soon as I got back, I had a massive talk with all my goalies. And like, your attention to detail is not good. Everyone there was so much more dialed and so much more focused than you are. We need to, and I yelled at them for like 10 minutes each of my lessons, and including into tomorrow's lessons. I just yelled for like 10 minutes. I'm like, this is
Okay,
what
so
makes
build up.
this
Give
so
me an
good.
example. Give me an example of what when you're saying like people listening to this, like I know what you're talking about. But when you say like you went to this camp and these kids were more dialed in and more focused, like give a contrast of what you're talking about.
There was no wasted reps. Like every time they got into the net, everything was done with a purpose. Every puck was tracked properly. Like even if they got beat, everything was tracked. Rebounds were followed. There was a noticeable intensity every time they got in the net. As soon as they were out of the net, yeah, they could relax and do their thing. But as soon as they got in the net, it was like a switch, and it was like game time. So you'd see, and when we've seen it from high level goalies, but it was nice to be around it all the time for everyone. But as soon as they were in, it was just everything was done with a purpose, with intensity to get better. There wasn't just shots for the sake of shots. It wasn't reps for the sake of reps. Even if when they were exhausted and tired, everything was done well. In the gym, everything was done well. I think that's the biggest thing. We work, we spend a lot of time with young kids, and young kids, they're kids. They're chasing butterflies most of the time. Even the even the youngest kids, it would have been like 16, probably think would have been 15 or 16 would have been the youngest one or two goalies that were invited. Like as soon as they were in the gym, dialed. Nothing was, if you had questions, they asked questions, but things were performed well. Everyone kept everyone accountable. It was just nice to be around high level athletes where they all understand that this is how they need to perform at everything if they want to be better than the goalie beside them. And it was, which is one of the reasons I do like the national development program model. It's where you're taking the best kids and you have the two or three best goalies at that age group. Like they are fighting for the starting job for Team USA. Like they are in competition all the time. And it just elevates. Like having a training partner, having someone to push you all the time can't be understated. But it was just so refreshing to be around. And so as soon as I got to the rink, I'm like, there's no more stick slamming. There's no blah, blah, blah. I just went crazy. I'm like, we are every rep we're taking. I just went nuts. But it was like such a wide night and day different standard of performance. And I was like, this is.
So who was running that? Like you were you there? Were you on the ice like as a goalie developer or like a goalie evaluator?
I was on both. So it wasn't evaluation. It was a coaching development camp. So I was in charge of the off ice performance. And then I was on the ice coaching, more floating and doing drills, floating and like coaching and like stepping in. And I got to run a couple skating drills the start of some of the practices. It was put on by USA Hockey. The main guys in charge were the two um, at the USNCD program. So Coach Lassonde and AJ Walchek were the two guys there. Steve Thompson, who we've had in the pod, was running it. He's in charge. And then they brought in a whole plethora of college coaches, high school coaches, the coaches that do the men, like the women's 18s, the women's under 20s, like all these coaches, they were there. And there's also a defense skills cohort going on as well. So it was goalies and D, and it was very well done. And actually, I think the biggest thing we talk about attention to detail. I've never had spent so much time thinking about the nuances of drills than I did in the literal boardroom that we were in, trying to think of tweaking and modifying drills to work on one specific thing. It was just like everything was done with a purpose, and this thing was done this way and this thing was done that way, and I was like, hey, this is refreshing to see. I like this. So
Well, that's what I was
okay,
gonna say. I was gonna say, what is like one thing that you took away that you learned from those guys that you're gonna start using?
they're actually, well, on a technique side, AJ did teach showed me something about like RVH head positioning. It's too hard to explain here. It would just take too long, but it was pretty interesting. It makes some sense. Um, but I think my biggest takeaway was just the standard. Like you see it in Muskegon, like Muskegon had a standard. When you're in minor hockey associations, like there's so many kids, so many moving parts. But those kids that end up being the best are those kids that consistently bring it and maintain that standard every single day, whether they're in the gym, on the ice. And we know which kids those are, but it was nice to just have them all in one area. But it's cool. So hopefully keep getting invited back to things like that. It was nice to be involved in USA hockey. Now I'm at this crossroads where I'm like, do I cheer for the United States with things? Like in like the World Championship, like do I cheer for the US and Canada? What happens when they play each other? Now I don't know. Just identity crisis. That's all I got. I don't have anything else. I used my parting shot at the start. It was a shout out.
Well, I got a parting shot. Well, not
okay,
a parting shot, but I just about 10 minutes before we started recording, I signed up to go to see our good friend Ben Ciernick speak at a hockey conference in 2 weeks. So I'm going to see Ben in St. Catharines, Ontario. He's doing a presentation on the uselessness of point shots, and I agree with him. And I'm excited to go and see him. And I haven't seen him for, I don't know, the last time I got to see him. It's been at least a couple of years. So I'm excited to go see Ben. And I texted him and said, hey, I'll see you on the 31st. He goes, can't wait till there's heckling in the crowd and I know where it's coming from. I'm like, you'll know. I'll have a spotlight on me. So
you better have some good questions. Oh, one thing I do want to add, actually, I thought was really funny. The person that was doing the off ice stuff last year at Team USA, they so like part of my job too is like warming, like just going through like warm-ups. Like everything had to be done as a team, as a unit. Like we're working, this is United States, this is Team USA, we do things together as a group. And so it's a warm-up. So we're going through, they're skating like 3 to 4 hours a day. Like they're beat up. And I know that. And they have to do this for 3 or 4 days. So we're going through the stuff. And then one of the athletes was like, oh my God, this is so much better than last year. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, last year, the person we had doing it just buried us in the ground. It's like we were so tired and like so sore, and all we did was just more sprints and more things. And our warm-ups took an hour and a half. We were just dying. And I was like, it's a warm-up. My job is to get you ready to. This is not a fitness combine. My job is to keep your bodies healthy and in a position to perform so that when you get on the ice, which is why you're here, like things are good. And I can tell you a little bit more offline, but I just thought it was hilarious. And I think I hope as this we should do an episode on athlete management and maybe bring in an expert or two, because some of the things that I see on both the not doing enough and then also doing too much, it just blows my mind, because it's just, if you're skating 4 hours a day, which one you probably shouldn't do. This was a small one-off thing, but you don't need to be in the gym for another hour and a half killing yourself doing sprints and all these things. Some people, you know, drives me crazy. So hopefully I get invited back. Hopefully the feedback from the players are like, thank God.
hopefully
thank God.
one player that said this was better than last year gets you invited back.
No, well, no. But then after he said that, I asked like all the men and women there. I was like, "What'd you guys do last year?" And they're like, "Oh my God, it was way too much. We were so sore all the time and all this." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like,
So did you have like a fitness aspect? Like, did you do a cool down or?
Yeah, like we did warm up, cool down, and then like anytime they asked for like on it, like they needed like performance stuff, we did some performance stuff. We had one player who had just recently torn her ACL, so like we were going, like she and I would work together and do like training and stuff because she couldn't skate. But mostly it was just like getting them ready to, like basically getting them warm, activating them, making sure that their needs are taken care of so that they can perform well on the ice. And like I told them, I was like, listen, if they had said like, hey, we're lifting heavy every single day, I need you to do this, then we probably would have killed you. But that's not the role that I had. The role was make sure that they are warm and ready to go as soon as the whistle goes, as soon as they step on the ice, and then make sure that they are recovered after. It's done. Easy. I can do that. So yeah, my warm-ups were 15 minutes long. They were an hour and a half of sprinting and doing butterfly pop-up sprint barrel rolls or whatever dumb, stupid things that we see on the internet.
It's amazing
Ah,
how good of a job you can do when you don't try and overcomplicate it, eh? Like you just show up, do what you're supposed to do, and then everybody's happy about it.
yo, one job. Like I can't. We need to have a summer training talk because I saw. Like if I see, oh, this podcast, everyone's probably turned it off already.
We need to get shirts that just say "Don't do dumb shit" on the back.
Honestly, just why are why is the goalie zeitgeist and like why is the hive mind so allergic to just being an athlete? Why is goalie training doing half splits and like juggling and only doing mobility and stuff? Why does that all people want to do? Why can't people just do some like Bulgarian split squats or some jumps? And it's crazy because every good strength coach that gets in it, like that's what they're doing. Except on the internet, it's not. All the goalie people are posting the dumb stuff, and then that's what everyone thinks they need to do. And then they're always hurt and injured and weak. And which is great that I'm a physio because I get to fix them. But it's just, guys, we got to do more than just hand-eye. Stop, dude, stop it. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. You can do both. Like, I'm so mad. Now I'm all mad.
This is the first rant that I was actually interested in, though. I want to give you props. Congratulations.
Hey,
You held my
thanks.
attention for 4 minutes.
Thanks.
I'm so proud of you.
I wish I was confident enough to be one of those people on the internet that like green screen themselves and was like, this is stupid, and here's why. God, some of those things are so stupid. And it's not even stupidness. Stupid,
Here we
oh,
go
that's
again.
definitely not a word. It's not even the how stupid it is because the drill is stupid. It's because you are replacing something of value with something of garbage. That's what I don't like. Like it's one thing to go in and do your lift and everything, and then it's like, oh, it's the afternoon. I'm gonna juggle, whatever. No,
You
your
do know that
juggling
you
does not
juggled a
replace.
lot, right?
Yeah, but juggling doesn't replace squats. That's what we see. Oh,
That's the shirt.
I'm gonna do
That's
my.
the catchphrase.
I'm gonna do my
Juggling does
slide.
not replace squats.
I'm gonna do my slide board leg extensions while single arm dumbbell pressing and catching to. No, stop it. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, stop
All
that
right.
stupid stuff.
Okay, relax. That's enough. So everybody who's ever going to train to be a goalie ever off the ice, contact Jamie only, because everybody else has done stupid shit. Jamie's the only one that knows what he's doing.
Oh,
And
actually,
me.
just send me a list. I'll give you a list of people that aren't me if you really don't want to train with me that are good. Just
I think the list would be longer if you just send a list of people not to train with.
yeah.
Just avoid these people. But anyways,
Anyways,
shout outs. You did your shout out already?
yeah, Muskegon Lumberjacks, and that encompasses myself, so it also gives me cool, but mainly Peck, Shika, and the coaching staff. Unbelievable job, those guys. I don't know if they'll be back because they deserve that. Head coach Parker Burgess and his staff. It would not surprise me if they get like a high level NCAA or even an American League job because they are so good. So shout out the whole Lumberjacks organization.
So what are you in limbo? You don't know if you're back yet?
I don't know. We'll see. They'll probably come out of left field and be like, "Hey, great job, you did so well, but we're gonna get a full-time NHL guy to take over," as they always do. As soon as the people do well, they like to. It's like the training, you know. You get someone to hear. It's like, oh, I need to go work at so and so because they have this many goalie coaches. So we'll see if I get fired in the next 10 days.
Wait, I can't wait.
2 national championships though. One in Canada, one in the United States. Not a big deal.
What's the Canada one? Never said that.
RBC.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in like 1996. Get over yourself already.
How many RBC championships do you have? Well, you have one because you
I
have
have one. Yours. Yeah. So
All
there
right.
you go.
Okay, fine. How many
And
USHL
technically,
championships do you have?
I got yours too because I'm your mentor. So there you go. So.
Ah, damn it. Okay, we're tied.
On that note, so hopefully after people hear all these stories, they don't get fired because in 10 days, maybe we both get fired.
Probably you more than me, man. You more than me. You keep throwing yourself in the fire.
Someone's got to do it, man. Like that's the one. Like, you know what? I'm willing to make the hard choices. Like I'm willing to make those things. And other people are scared to do it. And I'm like, hey.
That's why you catch heat, because you're willing to go in the trenches, and instead of sending an anonymous email, you just go save someone to face to face. And you know what? Sometimes 10-year-olds tell you that they hate you.
Sometimes you get burned, and sometimes it is what it is. Hey, like it's just the way it is. You want to do this job, you want to be a hockey coach, you want to run an association. You got to be willing to make. You got to be willing. If you're going to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs. And if you can't crack the eggs, then you're eating nothing. So crack the eggs. And when I was trying to like mentor a new guy coaching through this trial process too, and he came to his last 2 cuts, and he's like, "Okay, I'll email him when I got home." I'm like, "Nope." Like you're gonna go pull him in the room right now. I'll sit in the room with you. You're gonna pull him in. You're gonna do it face to face. You're gonna learn throwing you right in the fire now. He's like, "Okay," and then he did it, and he's like, "Okay, that felt a lot better." So do the hard shit.
Yeah.
And whatever the episode number is next, we both may have been fired. So tune in next week to see if we still have jobs.
Thanks for listening and watching. We'll try to be a little bit more consistent. Probably won't happen, but we appreciate you.